Hello everyone, this is Lavanya. I know every one of you is expecting your favorite leader, Bavadarani, but unfortunately she is unable to join us today, so I'm going to host the meeting. Today's topic is um, sneak peek of Winter 21 and Spring 21 release highlights. We have excellent speakers today. We have couple of speakers, Vinod Shanmugam and Niveta Selvam. Both of them have a very good experience.
Lovely, sorry for the interruption. Were you able to see my screen?
Yes, but it's shuffling, Niveta.
Okay. So now,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I can see the speakers like, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, so we have great, awesome speakers today, Niveta Selvam and Vinod Shanmugam. So both of them have very good experience on Salesforce. And the topic is really interest, and I hope this meetup is the most useful topic for almost everyone. We have conducted the Weave-In contest as well, right? So many of them have shared very creative videos, and we will announce the winners at end of the meetup. Stay tuned. So and hand over this to Niveta for now. Niveta, can you please take them to the session?
Yeah, thank you, Lavanya. Thank you for the introduction. Hi, everyone. So this is Nivita. I'm working in MST for past 4+ years and having a good experience on Salesforce project, and as well as I'm playing the role on quality analyst. So I have experience in several kind of testing also. So in the session, we'll see some configuration level as well as Apex level enhancement on Winter 21 release. So myself will cover the configuration level today. And we have another speaker, Vinod. I'm handovering the to Vinod.
Yeah, thank you, Lavanya, and thank you, Niveta. Yeah, hello guys. This is Vinod. I'm working as a software engineer level 3 for MST Solutions. So I hope you guys know me as a speaker. Like this is my second speaker community meetup. I'm going to perform as a speaker. Yeah, hope you guys will enjoy this session and take it as a informative one before moving on to the 2021. Next slide, please, Niveta. So agenda of this meeting is like we'll cover up the admin highlights for the winter 21. So that will covered by Niveta, and Apex enhancement will be covered by myself, following the spring 21 sneak peek and the end winner announcement. Next slide, please, Niveta. Niveta, can you please turn it on the presentation session, presentation mode?
Yeah, slideshow mode.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Let me start the session. So today we will cover some topics, enhancement topics on the Winter 21 release on the configuration side. The first one is auto add fields to custom report types. So I think we all know about the custom reports. So actually before Winter 21 release, if we create any custom report type, as a user, we need to manually place the whatever custom field we want to be displayed in the report. But the main advantage of this Winter 21 release for the custom report is automatically adding the custom fields in all the active custom reports. So to make use of this feature, we need to make sure on reports and dashboard settings, we need to enable the checkbox called auto add new custom field to custom report type layout. So after this, we need to create the custom field. So there we can have the option called once we enable the option in the reports and dashboard settings on creating the custom field, we could able to see the another option called auto add to custom report type checkbox. So if we enable this checkbox, the creating custom field will be automatically added to the all active custom report type. So the main purpose of this feature in the real time is like consider the company, you are the Salesforce admin. You have already created nearly 50 custom report types. So the company wants to introduce a new business and need to add a field called discount in the opportunity custom report type. So previously, you would have to add it manually for the entire 50 reports. So consider this for doing for 50 reports. So here we can make use of this feature. But still, we have some limitations on this feature. The first one is this checkbox. During the field creation, the checkbox will available only for the new custom field, not the existing one. The next one is even if we check the checkbox, this field will be automatically added only to the active custom report type, not for the inactive or hidden report types. And then we could not able to select the particular custom report type to add the custom field. It would be applicable for all the custom report types. We could not able to choose the particular one. So these are the some of the limitations of this custom report type. So everyone clear with this topic? Can I move to next one? Okay. So the next topic is easily access deleted fields. Um, Actually, we have this feature already in the Salesforce in classic experience only. Like in the classic experience, we can able to retrieve the deleted fields under the custom fields section as a hyperlink. We could not able to retrieve it in the Lightning experience. If you want to retrieve it, we need to navigate to classic and we need to retrieve the deleted fields. But in this enhanced Winter 21 enhancement, we can able to retrieve the deleted fields in the Lightning experience itself. So on the fields and relationship section, we have a button called deleted fields that we can able to see the list of deleted fields in the particular object. So it displays the field name, API name, and its type. So and then the one more thing is we can able to undelete the fields within 15 days only. After the 15 days, it will automatically deleted from the entire arc. So note that when we undelete a field, some of the properties on the field will be lost or changed. So this is the simple and neat enhancement on the Winter 21 release. Okay. So the next one is check out the performance of Lightning page. So this is mainly used for developers while creating the Lightning page. So we can now we can make sure our record page performance better based on the analysis right inside the Lightning App Builder. So performance analysis in App Builder evaluates the fields, instances of the related list components, and the metadata of the record page. So to view this page performance, we need to click on the button called Analysis at the top right corner in the App Builder. So while click on the button, it gives the best practices and suggestion for improving our page performance. So based on the suggestion it displays, we can modify our Lightning page properly. So for this feature also, we have a limitation like this is only applicable for creating the record page only, not for the home page or app page. So this is the only limitation on this feature. So moving on to the next topic, dynamic forms. the most interesting topic in the Winter 21 release. It has a lot of steps, but for this session, I just touched the surface of this dynamic form. There is a lot of steps in it. So actually, before Winter 21 release, if we want to go a different set of fields or section or visibility, we need to create multiple page layouts or record types. It is not achievable in the single page layout based on the profiles users or based on the fields value. But in the dynamic forms, it gives you the ability to have only one page layout and still see what you need to see and when you want to see it. So now there is no need for additional record types to get the page layout that you need unless the record types using the pick list values. That is that for different record types. So currently this is only available for a custom object, not for the standard object. So and also this feature is also only available for a record page, not for the app page and the home page. So using this dynamic form, we can able to set component visibility and feed visibility, and also manage the fields and sections on our page without touching the page layout. So as I said earlier, there are a lot of steps in it. If you people are more interested on this topic, please check out the release notes for more details. So the next topic is opportunity deal change highlights. So opportunity deal change highlights helps more efficiently for the sales team to prioritize their work by showing recent changes to amounts and as well as close dates. So it is also the one of a simple but neat change on the opportunity list view in Lightning experience. We can able to see this feature on the Kanban view only. So this is particularly effective for sales manager who need to stay updated on the movements of their deals. So this feature is automatically enabled in our org. So like this in the opportunity settings, we have a new options called show amount that change and show close dates that change. It will be automatically enabled in our org. So if we want to disable this feature, we can manually go to opportunity settings and just uncheck this box. This feature and one more thing is like this feature is only available in the unlimited edition. So yeah, here the opportunity Kanban view list view. So here we can see two different colors. One is displayed in the red color text and the down arrow. The another one is green color text and the up arrow. So actually, the colors and the arrow indicates that the amount and close date that changed during the last 7 days. 7 days. The user can, while hovering the arrow mark, the user can get the details of when the date has been changed, who has been changed, and from when to when it changed. So those details we can see while hovering the arrow. And the red text and arrow indicates that the amount that decreased and closed it that were pushed out, and the green text and its arrow indicates that the amount and amount increase and the closed it were pulled in. So this is the another feature in the Winter 21 release. And I have some general announcement which is very simple. So like the first one is while creating the custom data before Winter 21 release, if we try to create any custom metadata, we won't able to see the data type geolocation. But in this release, we can able to create a custom metadata with a geolocation field type. And the second one is on the deployment side. Now we can able to deploy OWD and criteria based sharing rules together. Previously, these changes has to be deployed as separate packages. And the third one is on the profile side. Um, we can able to prevent the ability for users to see their profile names other than own. So to enable this feature, we need to check the checkbox called enable profile filtering on the user management settings. And the fourth one is now the record change trigger flows when the record ownership change in the classic. Before it triggers only in the lightning experience. For example, we have a flow that trigger based on the record owner field. Then consider that the user changed the value of record owner field in the lightning experience. At the time the flow will trigger successfully. If the same process is done in classic means at the time the flow will not trigger. So now in this release the flow will trigger in classic experience also. And the final one is debug flow as another user. So while debugging the flow, if we want to test or troubleshoot the flow as another user without logging into the system there you as a user, we can able to use this feature. To enable this feature, we need to check the checkbox called the enable user impersonation or in the process automation settings. Okay. So anyone has any doubt on so far?
Yeah, Niveta, thank you for sharing the details. I have one question. So for the third point regarding the enable profile filtering,
Yes.
so you said that the user would be able to see the limited profile names. So like where
Yes.
he will see the profile names exactly?
Sorry, can you please come again?
I mean, where the user will see the will be able to see the profile names. That is my question.
Actually, we can see the list of profiles displayed while going on to the click on the profile slide.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there,
Okay. So you are saying the setup part.
yes.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Anything
Thanks.
else? Everyone able to see the Salesforce org instead of PPT?
No, Niveta. We are still seeing the PPT.
Now, can you able to see the Salesforce org?
Yes.
Yeah, Nimita.
Okay, we'll see demo for some of the topics. So first, so yeah. So the first one is for auto add fields to custom report types. As I said earlier, so I have already enabled the checkbox on the reports and dashboard settings like auto add new custom field to custom report type layout. Okay, so now if I create any custom fields, okay, so I have already created an website. So now you can able to see this option, right? Auto add to custom report type. So Once the report on the report and dashboard settings, auto add field is enabled means it automatically enable in the custom field also. Go to report types. So yeah, this is the field I have created now, demo field. Previously, before Winter 21 release, it would be displayed in the right side. We need to drag and drop the field, but now it automatically added to the custom report type. So this is one. This is one of the feature, and the second one is easily access the deleted field. On the fields and relationship, we can able to see the button called deleted fields, right? So now I'm going to delete the field demo field. So on the pop-up, it will display the rules and regulations of while deleting the fields. So now click on the deleted fields, and we can able to see the fields which has been deleted within 15 days by their field name, API name, and its data type. So if we want to retrieve like undelete means we need to click on the undelete link. If you want to delete the field entire from the Salesforce org means we can use this erase link. So this is the another feature. So consider this as my sample record page. So while click on the analyze button, it will display the performance of our page. As of now, it's just displaying as good since I have just drag and drop the standard components. So if we are using any code related or any custom related one means maybe it sometimes displayed as moderate one. At the time, based on the suggestion it displays, we can modify our page, lightning page. So this is one of the feature. And the last one is dynamic forms. So the as I said, we can able to control the field based on the another field value. For example, so click on the while after drag and drop the component, it displays the upgrade now button. So to use the dynamic form, need to click on the upgrade now button. Select the layout. Now we can start with our dynamic forms. So for demo, I'm just going to create the field level visibility. Like so, this is just a layout for student details. I have totally 3 section: mark details, post details, and then general details. So in the mark details, I have pass and fail and rank field. So I'm going to set the criteria like the rank field should be displayed only if the pass fail field has the value pass. So we need to click on the rank field, and on the right side there is a UI behavior. So I'm just mark as required and setting the filter criteria. So the filter criteria to display the field is pass fail equal to pass. So this is a very simple criteria. So activate the page. Okay. So so you can see that there is no rank field. If I provide pass value in the pass and fail field, means at the time we can see the pop-up model like the following fields were added to the record. So like based on the criteria for the pass value, the rank field is displayed. If I remove the value, it automatically disappear. For the fail, it won't appear. So this is the one of the feature of dynamic forms. As I said, there is a lot of things to do on the dynamic forms. So based on your release, based on the release notes, you can just learn of the dynamic forms and explore a lot. So that's it on the configuration side. So anyone has any doubt so far or questions?
Niveta, there are a couple of questions for you in chat. One is dynamic form
Okay.
can be controlled using profile. Can you please answer for that?
So I couldn't see any questions, Lavanya.
You can see it, I guess. Oh, okay. So it is private chat, so it's okay. There is a question from participant, but it is private chat, Niveta. Sorry
Okay.
for it. Just now I have noticed. Can you please answer for that?
Okay.
The question is, I'm repeating the question.
Okay.
Dynamic form can be controlled using profile.
Yeah, actually, usually in our even though if we have any many enhancement based on the security or portability settings, the first performance will be based on the profile level. After that, only it will be controlled. We can control based on the dynamic forms. So the first priority would be always on the profile level.
Okay,
Is that
thank
answerable
you.
to that question, or
I think so. The second one is, can we retrieve the auto add option while retrieving the metadata, or this should be done manually in the higher end?
Auto, sorry, I can't get the question.
Okay, I can pass this question to you.
Okay.
Are you able to see the question now?
Yes. No. So is this question for existing data? So if this is for existing data means we could not actually. So as I said, it will be only for new metadata.
I think they are asking. They are asking for the checkbox. We are enabling the
Yeah,
checkbox for auto adaption, right?
right. This is, I think this is related to custom report type. I think, hope so. So if this
Okay.
is related to custom report type means we could not able to retrieve the existing data even in the higher. We need to manually do it.
Okay, I think they got the answers. Thank you,
Okay.
Nivita. One more question. Does
Okay.
dynamic form update page layout?
Yeah, that's what I shown you.
That is the question. I received
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay, we are getting questions. Okay. Uh,
Um, can you do one thing? Just ping me all the questions after
question.
Vinod
Okay.
complete. After Vinod complete his session, so I will answer all the questions since there is some more part on the Apex level also. So once he completed, I will cover all the question and answers. Okay, is that fine?
Uh, no, only two questions. We can finish it and we can jump
Okay,
into that
no
part,
problem.
I
Yeah.
guess. Okay. Last two questions. So I will send one more.
Okay. Yes, dynamic form will update the page layout.
Okay. And one more question is, can we deploy it? That is, can we deploy dynamic forms to higher end, higher orgs?
Sorry, I'm not sure on this. Maybe I'll just surf on it and provide the answer within the session end.
Yeah, thank you, Nivita.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything
Thank,
else?
that's all, Nivita. Thank you for your answers. Thank you, everyone,
Okay,
for the
thank you.
questions. Yeah, please feel free to ask the speakers directly. And if you are not comfortable, you can directly ping them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you everyone. Hope this configuration level enhancement will help you a lot. So I'm handovering the session to Vinod. He will continue from the Apex enhancement. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Niveta. I'm sure like participants would have find it more informative regarding the admin part. Even I find it more information
Thank
regarding
you.
your presentation. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Okay, guys, like now let's move on to the Apex enhancement for the Winter 21. Now we can see like what are the Apex enhancement given by the Salesforce for the Winter 21 release. So first one, like I want to go with previous slide, Niveta. Niveta, can you please go with previous slide? Ah, uh, yep, this is the one. Okay, thank you. So first, we shall go with the safe navigation operator. So this is the fancy operator which we got explicitly from the Salesforce for the winter 21 release. So this is nothing but same like a ternary operator. So which we use to compress the if and else statement. We can get it in a single line of code for the ternary operator. So same like the ternary operator, we can use the safe navigation operator. So this operator plays a role to check the null pointer exception. So as a developer, we usually have a hard time to check for null value. Say for example, like if there is any list, before updating the list, we used to check the null value, or if you query any circle query, we need to check the null value and all those stuffs, and we may forget to check all those null values, and we ended up with the null pointer exception. So this is the generic error that the developers used to face. So with the help of this safe navigation operator, you can find like keyword is like question mark dot. So that's the operator. So use of this operator is like left side value. If it tends to give a null value, means it will not proceed to the right side value, which is like it will give directly a null value instead of giving a null pointer exception. So over here, I've shown an example over here, like I'm just getting the account owner email. So before proceeding getting the account owner email, I'm just checking the my contact is null. And again, like I'm just refreshing to the corresponding account, whether it is a null or not, and the corresponding owner, it is a null or not. So with these 3 lines of coding, I'm finally getting account owner email. So you can see like my contact dot account dot owner dot email in the last line. You can see if any one of the item is null, it will throw a null pointer exception. Whereas in the highlighted part, you can see in the blue one, I've just used question mark dot, which is a null pointer exception, which is nothing but, so it operate with the left side one. So if first it checks my contact is a null or not. If it is not null, it will proceed to the account. And again, if the account is not null, it will proceed to the owner and finally to the email. So if any one of the operator, if any one of variable is null, this string will hold only the null value, but it will not throw any null pointer exception at the runtime. So this is one of the awesome feature introduced in the Winter 21 release. So next slide, please, Niveda. So next one is like sending out a custom notification from Apex. So this is one of the coolest feature introduced, like sending in a custom notification, where lately we are using the through APIs, which involves a lot of codes to send the custom notification to the Salesforce environment. So notification, nothing but like you can find it in the bell icon just near to your avatar. Say for example, like whenever an opportunity has been approved from the manager, you would get a notification. Or if example, like if any case command has been made with your name, you can get the notification. So those sort of notification, we've been doing it with the APIs and the Salesforce standard APIs. So in order to send your custom notifications, like whenever the opportunity has been approved from the manager, you can you can send the notification to the to the account owner. So the default approach is like we can send the email notification, but I don't want the account owner. I don't want the opportunity owner to jump into the email, so he can get straight away get the notification when he's in the Salesforce environment itself. So for that future, Salesforce has introduced this custom notification class called messaging.custom notification. So this is the class name we can use. And just to in the interest of time, I can go over with what needs to be done for this notification. So in the setup box, we can find type in the notification one, and we can create what type of notification, whether it is a mobile notification or it is a desktop notification. And with the use of tooling API, you can get the notification ID. So that's the one part for the configuration. And in the coding level, so you can input your logic whenever the notification has to be sent to the user. You can find it over here. Like I've just instantiated the custom messaging.custom notification class, and I've done all type of stuff which needs to be done. Like this is generally like an email template where you can see the title, body, and send notification ID. So this is this notification ID where you are getting it from the from the setup part. So over here, so and I have placed the send notification in the try block. So just to make sure nothing should go wrong. So after our custom logic, we can send the notification directly to the Salesforce user with the type of any custom messages you want. So again, this is one of the innovative feature based upon the couple of more than forms created and requested by the more trailblazers and was created by the Salesforce. Yeah, next slide, please, Niveda. So this is, you can detect the Apex runtime and request ID and query ID. So for the custom logs, whenever you are trying to, you know, debug your logic, Apex logic. So it is the custom and generic approach where the developers follow. So you can get the request ID as well in the runtime. So you can find whether it is a type of asynchronous or synchronous type of request has provided, as well as the request ID as well. To with the help of request ID, you can manipulate what needs to be done and what the logic has to be followed for the debug log. So in order to get the request info, first you need to create a request.getCurrent. So this is nothing but like you can get the current info. So with this method, request.getCurrent method used to retrieve the request object which contains the request ID and as well as the QDT. So next, in order to get the request ID, so first one like get current will grow only the object of contains request ID and QDT. Next, in order to get the request ID, you can explicitly use a method called request.getRequest ID. Over there, you can get the what ID triggers the Apex transaction, like whether it is synchronous or asynchronous, all those things. And next method is the request.getQDT. So this method used to give synchronous or asynchronous debugs log with the query ID over here. So with this help of methods, we can use it for the debug log, and you can manipulate what needs to be done, or you can get the required information for the your Apex transaction. Okay, next slide, please, Niveta. So next, one of the awesome feature, you can find it like you can improve our Apex testing with the help of our object error methods. So literally we'll be using like we'll use to find the error when we try to do any DML operations, like this field is not editable or you don't have any permission. So to run when the Apex code runs for the user context, not for the system context, but for the user context. So with these two methods like has errors, I mean S object can be any of the custom or standard object with has errors, and get errors method you can easily find the error from your Apex code for that custom object or standard object before doing the DML operations. So yeah, I mean to say, like before doing the DML operation means like it will not affect your database, or a record will not be inserted, and you can easily get the errors before that. So hash errors we used to return true or false. So whether your instance, for example, like if you are trying to reinsert an account, before doing the insert operation, I can quickly check that account dot hash errors. It will check like if that current instance is having any error or not, and the get error will give you what type of error is giving. So with the use of this one, we can straight away give the errors before doing the DML operations. And the next one is like you can delete 50,000 of object records in a batch. So this is equivalent to the number of records you can query for the socle. So this database method, new database method, like database.delete immediate. So this method used to delete 50,000 of record at a single operation. Yeah, next slide, please, Niveda. Okay, so far, anyone has any questions? Like, so those are the topics we covered for Winter 21. Next, we'll be moving up for the upcoming Spring 21 release. So, participants, do you have any questions so far?
Vinod, there is a question in chat. Um, can you please tell me again how to get the notification ID in Apex?
Yeah, okay. So you can get it from the, you can, from the setup, you can create a notification, you can create a notification, I'm sure like you can get, yeah, you can type the notifications in the setup box and you can create a notification for the desktop or a mobile one. And in order to get the notification ID, you can use the Sockle query, like you can select ID from custom notification type. So that's the type with the developer name is equal to what is the notification name you have given. So with this query, you can get the notification ID for that notification you have created, and you can use that notification ID in your Apex class whenever you are trying to send the notification. Just to make sure, like you need to remember custom notification type. So that's the just to query about it is similar like querying the account object. Instead of account, you need to replace custom notification type. That's it. Does it answer the question?
I hope so, Vinod. Yeah, they got it. And Vinod, did you see any questions in chat?
No,
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second question is, what is the use of Quiddity and request ID in Apex debug log?
Okay. So Apex query and request ID.
Request ID, yeah.
Okay. So request ID is like what type of request is going, and you can manipulate the request ID. So say for example, like if you are trying to insert an account. So for each and every transaction, you will get the ID. So you will get those ID in that request ID. And Quiddity is nothing but you can say what type of operation, like is it a synchronous or it is a synchronous. Synchronous is nothing but normal jobs. For the asynchronous, if you are doing any batch operations, so for that you can differentiate what type of operation is happening with the Quiddity.
Thank you, Vinod. So I have posted the third question, the last one, I believe.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
Okay. No. So I can see like 50,000 record. So if you're using for the batch, like you need to do it for a best option is to have 200 record per batch. I mean a single transaction per batch. So I guess this will not include in the batch class. So database.date will straight away delete all those record without any instance. So we are not deleting it by batch for the last question, Lavanya.
Thank you, Vinod, for all the answers.
Okay.
I hope it is useful to them.
Yeah, thank you guys. Like, yeah, we still have, I mean, we just have 6 more minutes. In the interest of time, like, I'll give you the snippet of Spring 21. So first one is like fields in Sockle. So earlier we used to, put on all the fields, whatever the custom fields you need to get the Sockle query. So for this one, you can find it with the name represent like fields all, which returns all the standard and custom fields, and the fields standard and the fields custom, which returns only the standard or the custom fields for the Sockle statement. So this is the awesome feature. You don't want to mention all the standard or custom fields in your Apex code, which makes your Apex code is methods for a lead convert. So we have a Apex method called a lead database.lead convert, which is used to convert the class. I'm sure most of you guys have known that. But one of the features is like we can convert the lead to a person account as well as a business account. So say for example, like you are having a family account as a business account, and each and every member in a family will have a separate account. So that is the person account. So which is like lead can be converted into person account as well as the business account. So this is the upcoming feature for the Spring 21. And you can find the related methods like get related person account ID, and set related person account ID and get related person account record. So these are the things you can set. So for example, like I am having a lead and account, and upon converting, I need to update the account and create the person account. At that time, you can use the get related person account ID, since the account is already there in the instance. So yeah, rest of the method is the same. You can set the person account ID as well. So if the set related person account ID means if there is no person account, but the business account is available, at that time you can set those ID. And following are the same methods. Next slide, please, Nivetha. Okay, so next, one of the coolest feature for the Spring 21 is like there is no need to use the SOQL query to retrieve the data from the custom metadata. So this is similar update for the custom settings. So earlier we used to use the SOQL query to retrieve the record from the custom metadata type, but from the Spring 21 release, you don't need to do the query. Instead, you can use the method.getAll method. So this is similar like custom settings. You can make use of these methods and make your code not hitting the governor limit of SOQL query. And next feature is like you can find a method called 215. So this is one of the fancy feature released in the Spring 21. So you can, as the name suggests, you can convert the IDs from 18-digit ID to 15-digit ID. So whenever when querying the record ID from the Apex, it used to return the 18-digit character. For some reasons, you can convert it to 15-digit character with the help of this method. Yeah, next slide, please, Nivetha. So yeah, as a general enhancement, like so manual setting is available in Lightning Experience. So prior to Spring, it is available only in the manual setting button is available only in the Classic. But from this release on Spring 21, we can taste this feature in the Lightning as well. So next point is like you can create a LWC and you can use it as a quick action as well. So this is one of the coolest feature. And next one is like refer to the prior values of the record that triggered your flow. So whenever you're creating a flow, you can do it for the operation when the value has been updated. When the value has been updated to meet the criteria. But from the Spring 21 release, you can make use of the prior value as well. So what makes the record to update, or what makes the record to trigger the flow? You can and you can use that value as well. And the last feature is like a traditional world feature, like we have a text field with a character of 255 and which is about to increase to 510 from the Spring 21. Okay, so yeah guys, so this is all we've got for the Spring 21 release, upcoming future.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you, Vinod and Nivetha, for your wonderful session. I hope it is useful to each and every one of the participant here. So thank you both. So to all the participants, so right now I have shared an email address. If you have any queries or anything you want to share as a feedback, you can share that to the email address that I have shared in the chat. And give me a minute. I will share my screen to announce the winners. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, Lavanya, we can.
Yeah, so the winners are Kyati Mehta and Maruti Dasan. So congratulations, winners. So you made a very innovative video. So we are really happy, and congratulations both again.
Yeah, congratulations, Kathy and Maruti Dasan. Like I've seen your videos in the LinkedIn as well. It was quite good one to have the process. And rest of the participants, thank you for attending this session. And I hope this session would be more informative for you guys.
So yeah, and I wanted to share a link with you all to collect the feedback. Okay, this is the one. Are you able to go to the link? Or you can directly go to menti.com. So this is the one. I will share the code. Okay. Are you able to see the question and code?
Yeah, Lavanya. Okay.
Yeah. So your feedback is really very important to us to improve further and to know your interest and everything. So it is really helpful to us if you share a feedback and thoughts about the presentation and about the group. I'm seeing a lot of feedbacks here. Okay, so stay tuned. So this is the last session of this year. There are more to come on 2021. Wishing you all a very happy new year and stay tuned for more sessions from WIT. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great year ahead.
Thank you everyone for attending the session.